No. Right. Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Okay, so we are reading. Soll ich das auf Deutsch machen? English. Okay, English is fine. Okay. Chapter 8. We are reading from the 9th canto, chapter 8. The sons of Sagara meet Lord Kapiladev. So this is one of the chapters that have many purportless verses. So we are going to read from 1 to 13 today. So the overview of this chapter is we've just had the chapter. Let me just get it. We've just had the chapter, the descendants of King Mandata, and it continues a little bit into this chapter. So this chapter starts with the descendants of Rohita, and Rohita, in the dynasty of Rohita, there was a king named Sagara. And so there's this whole dynastic description. The son of this was this, the son of this was this, and down the line we come to the king Sagara, because it's interesting that when his father died, his wife wanted to follow the principle of sati, which means which means that she enters the fire with him. And but the priest Aurva found out that she was pregnant, so she couldn't do it. We had the same thing with the mother of Parikshit Maharaj. She also, Uttara, also couldn't follow sati because she was pregnant. And the Pandavas, the wife of Lord Pandu, the wives of Lord Pandu, one of them followed sati because she wanted it, not because of her, but he wanted to have association with her, which he couldn't because he died. So she said, and interestingly, Madri said that Kunti Devi would be able to love her sons just as much as her own sons, because she had 2 sons and Kunti Devi had 3 sons. And she said, number 1, I have to go with my husband, and number 2, I fully trust you to love my sons just as much as your own. Because that's not always women, not all women can do that, but Kunti Devi could do that. So because whenever there are children involved, young children involved, especially also when they're pregnant, obviously you can't take sati. So this was the case here, that she couldn't take the vow of sati. And then later on, but for some other reason, the co-wives gave her poison with her food, but still her son was born, regardless of the poison. So Sagara means sa, means with, and gara means poison. So it's always the co-wives that poison, because we have the co-wives of Lord Chitraketu that also poison his wife. So polygamy and many wives altogether, it's not, it's very difficult. I have some views on this, but we won't discuss that. So then later on, the sons of Sagara there's a lot of things that happen with them, and then he had many thousands of sons, and we will read this today also. And then they meet Lord Kapila Dev. So not the impersonal one, but the Bhagavan one. So because there are two Kapilas, and I will talk about that. So text 1. This one doesn't have a purport, but because it is the first verse, we're going to chant it together. All right. Shri Shuka Vacha Haritorohit Haritorohita Sutash Haritorohita Sutash Champastasmat Vinirmita Champastasmat Vinirmita Champapuri Sudevoto Champapuri Sudevoto Vijayo Yasya Chatmaja Vijayo Yasya Chatmaja. Okay. Shri Sukha Vacha Vihurita Shuchas Champastasmat Vinirmita Champaturi Sudevoto Ayadashvajamaja. Want to? No? Okay. Shishukaha Uvacha. Shishukadev Goswami said, Harita, the king named Harita, Rohita Sutaha, the son of King Rohita, Champaha, by the name Champa, Tasmat, from Harita, Vinirmita, was constructed. Champapuri, the township known as Champapuri. Sudevaha, by the name Sudeva. Ataha, thereafter, from Champa. Vijayaha, by the name of Vijay. Yasya, of whom? Sudeva. Cha, also. Atmaja, the son. Translation and no purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Shukadev Goswami continued, the son of Rohita was Harita, and Harita's son was Champa, who constructed the town of Champapuri. The son of Champa was Sudeva, and his son was Vijaya. Okay, I'm just going to. Omagyanatimirandasya Ginanjana Shlakaya Chakshurunvilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamayam Darati Swapadantikam Vandehang Shri Guru Shri Yuta Parakamalam Shri Gurun Vaisnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sachivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakanitanshta He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavanishwari Vrishabhanu Sutta Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Abhishvanchakalpa Vanchakalpa Turubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Hevacha Patitanam Pavanibhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namah. And it's also about showing respect today. So I'm going to read until I think it's verse 15. Anyway, okay. The son of Vijaya was Baruka. Baruka's son was Vrika, and Vrika's son was Bahuka. The enemies of King Bahuka took away all his possession, and therefore the king entered the order of the Vanaprastha and went to the forest with his wife. Bahuka died when he was old, and one of his wives wanted to die with him, following the sati rite. At that time, however, Aurava Muni, knowing her to be pregnant, forbade her to die. Knowing that she was pregnant, the co-wives of the wife of Baruka conspired to give her poison with her food, but it did not act. Instead, the son was born along with the poison. Therefore, he became famous as Sagara, one who is born with poison. Sagara later became the emperor. The place known as Gangasagara was excavated by his sons. Verse 5 and 6. Sagara Maharaj, following the order of his spiritual master Aurva, did not kill the uncivilized men like the Talajagas, Yavanas, Shakas, Hayas, and Barbaras. Instead, some of them he made dress awkwardly, some of them he shaved clean but allowed to wear moustaches. Some of them he left wearing loose hair, some he half-shaved, some he left without underwear, and some without external garments. Thus these different clans were made to dress differently, but King Sagara did not kill them. Following the instructions of the great sage Aurva, Sagara Maharaj performed Ashvamedha sacrifices and thus satisfied the Supreme Lord, who is the Supreme Controller, the Supersoul of all learned scholars, and the knower of all Vedic knowledge, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But Indra, the king of heaven, stole the horse meant to offer to the sacrifice. Why? Because Indra likes getting jealous or jealous. He becomes, yeah, neidish. Not jealous, but he's unsure because he likes to have his position. He likes being Indra. And then when he sees someone does a lot of sacrifice, he's thinking, this person can steal my position, and then he steals. But still, that happens every how many millions of years, so Indra's still better than us. Way better. King Sagara had two wives, Sumati and Keshini. The sons of Sumati, who were very proud of their prowess and influence, following the order of their father, searched for the lost horse. While doing so, they dug into the earth very extensively. Thereafter, in the northeastern direction, they saw the horse near the ashram of Kapila Muni. Here is the man who has stolen the horse, they said. He is staying there with closed eyes. Certainly he is very sinful. Kill him, kill him. Shouting like this, the sons of Sagara, 60,000 altogether, raised their weapons. When they approached the sage opened his eyes. So now comes an interesting verse with a very tiny little purport. By the influence of Indra, the king of heaven, the sons of Sagara had lost their intelligence and disrespected a great personality. Consequently, fire emanated from their own bodies, and they were immediately burned to ashes. Purport. The material body is a combination of earth, water, fire, air, and ether. There is already fire within the body, and our practical experience is that the heat of this fire sometimes increases and sometimes decreases. Sometimes you have fever, and sometimes if you eat too much ice cream, then you have no digestive powers. So fire goes up and down. The fire within the body of the sons of Sagara Maharaj became so much hotter that all of them burnt to ashes. The fire's increased heat was due to their misbehavior toward a great personality. Such misbehavior is called Mahat Vyatikrama. They were killed by the fire of their own bodies because of insulting a great personality. So that's why I wanted to read until 15, because it's until where? 13. Okay. 12. It is sometimes argued that the sons of King Sagara were burnt to ashes by the fire emanating from the eyes of Kapila Muni. This statement, however, is not approved by great learned persons, for Kapila Muni's body is completely in the mode of goodness and therefore cannot manifest the mode of ignorance in the form of anger, just as the pure sky cannot be polluted by the dust of the earth. So now we come to 13, and I am quickly going to chant this, and then we'll read the purport and the verse. Yashirita Sankhya Maya Dridehanar Yaya Mumukshustarate Duratyayam Pavarnavam Mrityupatam Vipaschita Paratma Bhuttasya Gatam Pritan Mati. Kapila Muni enunciated in this material world the Sankhya philosophy, which is a strong boat with which to cross over the ocean of nescience. Indeed, a person eager to cross the ocean of the material world may take shelter of this philosophy. In such a greatly learned person, situated on the elevated platform of transcendence, how can there be any distinction between enemy and friend? Purport. One who is promoted to the transcendental position, Brahma Bhuta, is always jubilant, Prasanatma. He is unaffected by the false distinction between good and bad in the material world. Therefore, such an exalted person is Samaha Surveshu Bhuteshu. That is to say, he is equal toward everyone, not distinguishing between friend and enemy. Because he is on the absolute platform, free from material contamination. He is called Paramatma Bhuta or Brahma Bhuta. Kapila Muni, therefore, was not at all angry at the sons of Sagara Maharaj. Rather, they were burnt to ashes by the heat of their own bodies. We see the same thing happening to Shukadev Goswami when he was on his way he just dropped out of the womb, and then he got up and he walked. And when he passed a lake, there were a group of women bathing, and obviously they weren't fully clothed. I think they had kamshas on or something. But when he passed away, no problem. They just looked at him and then they went on having fun in the water. But then Shukadev Goswami's Vyasadev, partial incarnation, like the incarnation of Krishna, when he passed, they immediately covered themselves. And he's like, huh? And he followed his son for a while, but then he went back to the girls and he said, but my son just walked past and you didn't cover yourself, but you covered yourself for me. And they said, yes, because you're a grihasta. It's in your ashram to make a distinction between male and female. Because Vyasadev was also very pure. It's not that he was like in Maya or anything. That's why he couldn't understand, because he's not envious. He didn't look at them. But because a grihasta has to make that distinction between male and female, because that's the grihasta ashram, a part of it. But Shukadev Goswami was completely above that. He made absolutely no distinction between whether someone was male or female. So in this case, Kapila Dev, he made no distinction between good or bad. A pure devotee of the Lord makes no distinction between good or bad, because he knows everything is the mercy of the Lord. And the mercy of the Lord is always good, whether it's packaged in sunshine and roses without thorns, or whether it's packaged in hellfire and brimstone. No? It comes in different packages, but the gift inside is always good. So another thing is that we have to, for everybody who's listening, there is a difference there are different kinds of Sankhya philosophies. And I just wanted to make a distinction. So there are, where is it? Okay, so there are different kinds of Sankhya philosophy. The one is the theistic Sankhya philosophy, and this is the philosophy that that Bhagavan Kapila teaches in the 3rd canto, 25 to 29. He's the son of Devahuti and no, Kapila Muni is the son of Devahuti and what's his father's name? Huh? Yeah, Kasyapa. Yeah. I think so, yeah. I'm not sure. Anyway, then there's a later atheistic or non-theistic Sankhya associated with another Kapila, but he's a philosopher. And they do not accept the personality of Godhead. And then there's the Sankhya as a sort of an analytical method to analyze matter, spirit, the 24 elements, etc., and how it can be used in different philosophical contexts. So that's kind of the 3 Sankhyas. But the one that we're interested in is obviously this one by Kapila Muni, which is, and that's why I also said Kapila Muni taught us how to cross the ocean of nescience. And you cannot do that if you don't believe in Krishna. So his is the one that we are looking for. So why I wanted to read until this verse is because it is such a important verse, because number one, it teaches us again. In the last few chapters, we've always had to do with people that offend Vaishnavas and then get into a whole heap of trouble. So Krishna's really hammering the point is don't offend people. So in this case, the 60,000 sons were very proud of their prowess because they were kings, they were princes, and they also looked at Kapila Muni and they just saw him from the outside. And from the outside, he may have looked a little bit unclean and like his clothing and whatever. And he just had a small little hut, and they didn't know who he was. And then they treated him according to what they saw, from the outside. And that's where the trouble comes in, is that in this material world, especially in this day and age, people are obsessed with what goes on the outside, how they look, how they dress, and Facebook did not help. Facebook, it was already bad, but then 20 years ago, or a little bit more, when Facebook came, it became even worse, because now social media, people only show the good things, and not even just the good real things, but there's a you can on the internet, there's a lot of pictures of these influencers, what they look like on their profile page versus what they look like in real life, and it's almost two different people, because they use filters, they use whatever, so they look completely different. Why? Because they want to be beautiful, they want to be young, they want to be popular, and not so much substance. And also, especially in Hollywood, you see that young women, and it's usually the women, young women, they have to get plastic surgery at 20 or wherever, because of noses and eyes and chins and a little bit flabby cheeks or something like that. And then you have some of the older women who decide not to do that anymore. They stop getting Botox, they stop wearing makeup, they don't get Botox, so they have crow's feet, they have whatever, and people freak out about it. They think they should win a Nobel Prize for not wearing makeup, because these women realize that, no, this is my body and this is who I am. I mean, on a material level, and I'm not going to change it, and I don't have to change it for other people. So we are obsessed with what's going on. It's interesting that in psychology, sometimes we try to impress the people that we are not even friends with. You want to look wealthy, you want to have the car because you want people to admire you. It's also pride, but those are the people who don't actually know you. So why bother? So Kapila Dev, and another interesting thing in this verse is that a pure devotee cannot manifest anger. They don't get angry. The anger that they show does not the I just edited this. In the 3rd chapter of Bhagavad Gita, it's described that lust is the most important. Lust is the biggest enemy that we have, because if we contemplate something, then we think about it, and then we want it, and then we try and get it, and then we don't get it, and then we become angry, and then we lose our minds, and then we fall down into the material pool again. So anger is a manifestation of expectations that are not met. And when you have expectations, it means you have attachments, and attachments means impure. The only thing that we should be attached to is Lord Krishna. And So Kapila Dev was completely pure, even though he may have looked a little bit strange from the outside. So again, through this story, Krishna shows us don't offend a Vaishnava. We can see it all over the Bhagavan. Bhagavatam. We just read the whole story about Durvasa Muni that that offended uh, Ambarish Maharaj. We had um, the Pandavas. They didn't offend, but their fathers do. So just wait for the altar to open. Shri Shri Radhamadaman ki jai. So Vyasadev was asked by his mother to conceive children the for the dynasty of the Kurus, and he conceived three children: Dhritarashtra, Pandu, and Vidura. And we can see even there, Dhritarashtra was born blind because during conception the woman closed her eyes, because Vyasadev told his mother, yes, I can do it, but give me a year to clean. So I have to prepare myself and I have to be clean and whatever, because he just came from the Himalayas. He had black teeth, he's smelling like yuck, and he just looks awful. And he said, no woman is going to want to make a baby like this. But she says, no, no, chop, chop, very important. And he's like, okay, bring them. And the first princess, Ambika, I can't remember the names, Ambika, and Amalika or something like that. The one, she had such a fright and she's like, "Ugh," and she closed her eyes. So Dhritarashtra was born blind, which was an offense. That's why he was born blind. And then the second princess had such a fright that she became completely pale. And that's why Pandu was also very pale. He was pale plus. And he was very, very pale himself. And then what happened? Vidura, his mother was a maid servant. So not a princess, but a maid servant. And the maid servant was the one that approached Vyasadev with complete, she treated him very respectfully. It didn't matter how he looked like. She treated him extremely respectfully, and therefore her child was Vidura, who was very, very pure. He couldn't be king because his mother was a maidservant, but he was very wise and he was a very, very deep devotee of Lord Krishna. So it's a little bit of another, like, the offenses that we commit don't just affect us, it affects our family as well. And that's why Parikshit Maharaj, when he committed the offense against Nachanaka Rishi, so something with an S, sorry, my brain is broken. He prayed, his prayer was, please let the offense fall on my head now and not affect my family. So that is how dangerous offenses are. Offenses don't affect just us, it affects our whole family. And Krishna makes it very clear that if you are going to offend the Vaishnavas especially, but offend anyone, then that's why people are unhappy. You cannot be happy if you commit offenses. It's impossible. So just in order to become happy, never mind serving Krishna, we have to stop offend people. And that's why there is something like Nam Aparad, Vaishnava Aparad, Jeev Aparad. So it's not just about offending Krishna. Krishna says, okay, whatever, you can offend me, but you might not experience the full glory of the holy name if you offend my name, but if you offend my Vaishnavas, oh yeah. But he didn't stop there. He said even the jivas, because you don't know who the jivas were, you don't know who the jivas are, you don't know what they're going to become. They may become Vaishnavas, or they may wake up. Everybody is actually a Vaishnava. You have practicing Vaishnavas and you have non-practicing Vaishnavas, but everybody is a servant of Krishna. It's just that everybody sitting here in this temple right now and doing work, we are extremely fortunate that we are in the process of remembering that we are Vaishnavas. The others that some people call karmis, they're also Vaishnavas. They just haven't remembered it yet. So that's why it's so important not to offend people and not to treat them according to what you see from the outside. Yes, obviously the outside sometimes it's it's there for a reason, but you cannot know a full person. You cannot know a person 100% just by looking at them from the outside. So, and everybody has Krishna in their heart. The super soul is in everybody's heart. So if you offend a jiva, you also offend the super soul. And we don't know the relationship that they have with Krishna or don't have. And everybody requires respect. Obviously, if the person is a mass murderer or he's in prison for some kind of violent crime, you will say, okay, Haribol, he has Krishna in his heart, but I don't want anything to do with him. That's fine, but you're not. Yeah. So offenses are very, very subtle and very, very dangerous. And the great personalities, the ones that, if we offend a great personality, they don't have to do anything to make us suffer. Just because of our offense, we ourselves suffer. So, just like the sons of Sagara Maharaj, they got burnt by their own offense. Kapila Muni didn't do anything. So yes, I leave you with this thought: is Adipurusha Prabhu, when in one of his Bhakti Shastri courses, he said that if you find yourself irritated and angry and a little bit miffed at people, just think that this person also has Krishna in them. If you look at people, you just think Krishna is also in this person. And Krishna is everywhere, no matter what the person has done. So, and then it's easier to show them respect and treat them properly. So that's what Krishna wants from us: is treat your seniors properly, according with respect, treat your equals with friendship, and treat your juniors with mercy. And he says that if we do that, then we will become happy. Then your life is perfect. So, and the point, so we can always think about that. All right, 5 minutes question, and then I have to run like Speedy Gonzales home because I have a class at 9. Huh? Okay.
Also ein Handygedanken, vielen Dank für mich sehr bedeutende Lecture. Ich habe mich jetzt ehrlich gesagt gefragt, ob diese Neigung, Offenses zu machen, auch vererbt werden kann. Also wenn ich meine Neigung sehe und wenn ich meine Familie so betrachte, oder ob jetzt möglicherweise die Seele in Resonanz geht mit Eltern, wo diese Neigung schon vorhanden ist, oder ob es tatsächlich auch, also wie weißt du, ob man
Yeah, I mean there is something. So the question is, if the tendency to make offenses, if it can be inherited. Yeah, I mean maybe not on a, actually also on a material level, because spiritually we understand, yes, because we all have karma and your tendencies are accumulation, also eine Zusammenfluss, accumulation of all the choices that you have made before. So if you continuously make bad choices and the same choice over and over again, it gains strength, and then that's how then it becomes impossible or nearly impossible to make the right choices, because the habit of making bad choices is just so strong. That's what karma is. It goes the other way. If you make good choices, the it also gains strength. So it becomes easier for you to. I mean, my mother never loses her temper ever. I think I may have heard her once maybe raise her voice, but it's because she practices it, and so it gains strength, and it doesn't, now she doesn't have to think about it. So that's how karma works. And in modern psychology, the psychologists know that there is something like generational, they talk about a trauma, but generational trauma, generational things that you can get from your parents. And yes, of course, the children are born into families that fit to them. So if you have either, not always fit to them, because some families just don't fit together at all, they fight all the time, but you are born into a family that exactly fits your karma. So and that's why on a material level it looks like we can inherit things from our parents, because the karma just, we have the karma to look a certain way, we have the karma to have the certain kind of intelligence, certain kind of personality, everything. So that's yeah.
Thank you very much.
Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Shakopati